Hello, my name is iAntonio Patterson, host and producer of the English Coach podcast, Living the Language. Now, I had three profound experiences today. The first of which had to do with a learner of English as a third language who I met again for the first time after quite a while. And unfortunately, she seemed to have trepidations relating to her upcoming exams. Now, as any empathetic teacher still capable of identifying with the struggles of his students would do, I did. And the first thing that came to mind was a song by Bob Marley that essentially said that he rose up one morning smiling with the rising sun, only to be met by three little birds on his doorstep that told him that everything is gonna be all right. Now, I honestly don't know what Bob was smoking the night before, but fun and jokes aside, that one was just for those who are only concerned with that aspect of the life of this musical genius and would tacitly corrupt it with misplaced triviality. I have myself had talking birds before, so that might not be too far from the truth, and furthermore, their message wasn't all that bad. So after thinking to myself, I went on and told her that meaning is the most important thing. And I thought to myself, as in this song, though sadly, the meaning of which is a little beyond some people, it is exactly that short reflection on meaning that led to this episode today on the 29th of November, 2022. Meaning. What is the intended meaning behind what we hear, what we see, and what we experience? I told her that the reason for learning a new language is to create, shape, and share meaning with each other, and that one of the best pieces of advice that I could give to any learner of any foreign language is to find the literature of old childhood stories translated into the target language, that is, into the language that they want to learn, and to read these stories, learn the vocabulary, and allow the strong associations associated with the meaning that they already have to naturally unfold. Now, I was reading a book recently called Thinking Fast and Slow, and one of the first things that they said in this book was that the brain learns best what the brain already knows. And that's probably a little bit counterintuitive, but what it means basically is that the brain recognizes patterns, and it will recognize these patterns much more easily when you already know the meaning of the story. I mean, knowing the meaning of the story means that you're already halfway there. And when you read it in a foreign language, that is probably one of the best things, because then you'll say to yourself, that's what they meant, and that's how you say it in the language you want to learn. I didn't do enough of that when I was learning German as a second language. And as an experienced language trainer with over 16 years of experience and hundreds of past students, I'm not going to take my own stage today to pretend to have all the answers to all the questions in that regard. Neither will I try to tell anyone that I have the secret to fluency in 6 weeks, as a lot of these people try to promise sometimes. I only know what worked for me, what could have worked better, what worked for others, and what didn't. So you get to take from that whatever you want. Now, what I just told you there was only a good half of a little story that, I just threw together for this short episode. But for those of you out there who are interested yourself or know someone who's interested, I would also invite you to check out episode 26 of the English Coach podcast that also talks about learning to think in English. That might be interesting to you, that might be useful to you. The second profound thing that happened to me today was that I got a chance to tell even more learners of English as a second language that the best linguists that I know did not learn the language from grammar books, but from a place of passion. Passion for something that they like to do, like dancing, cooking, photography, or from some romantic episode of some sort. That's just the truth. I always encourage my learners to connect their learning experience somehow with something that they already like, so the whole experience doesn't feel like work. That is actually the best advice that I could give to anyone. Now, at this point, after having introduced to you other ways of learning the language, for those of you who are a little more tolerant of a less conservative approach to romantic episodes, I would also invite you to check out episode 8 of my other podcast, Life is Feeling, Counting the Ways, available everywhere, as well as episode 4 that makes mention of other colorful ways to enrich your language learning experience through real events with real people right here in Berlin and anywhere for that matter. Links in the show notes. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, so be sure to check it out. Now, the third profound thing that happened to me today was when someone asked me, coincidentally, what I thought about the World Cup and why I don't like football. Now, I'm not too sure where that question came from, but I'm going to keep the answer pretty simple. I do like football, but I have no stomach for the politics surrounding it right now. That has absolutely nothing to do with the sport whatsoever. It's nothing less than a travesty to see how the lovely game is swamped and consumed, and in some ways corrupted by all the political and financial interests that surround it right now and have nothing to do with the sport at all. Together with yet another verse from who I would call the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley, otherwise known as Bob Marley. And the phrase is, or the verse is, one love. Now, everybody's using it for their political agendas right now, and that kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth, because I'm sure that while the man is known to have played a little ball sometimes, his favorite instrument might not have been the football, but his guitar. The heart and soul of this lovely game will not suffer from one person who just doesn't feel like watching it on this stage right now. So that was it, I just wanted to share that a little bit with you, kind of keep a human touch to this English Coach podcast. I like these free episodes that are, for the most part, non-scripted. So then, there we have it, lovely people, for this short episode today. And without further delay, as I always say, with a small win is always a good way to begin. I really hope you enjoyed the show today. Thanks for listening. I am looking forward to hearing from you, and bye for now.